So I don't know whether I'm sure you've read this.
Okay.
So One Direction.
Pop group.
Yeah. One of the stars from One Direction, Liam Payne.
Yeah.
Has died.
He went out of a hotel window or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he fell from the balcony of his hotel in Argentina. He obviously enjoyed phenomenal success with One Direction. So they formed the band on the back of X Factor. I don't know whether you've ever watched X Factor over the years.
I used to do the warm-up on X Factor.
Did you?
Years when it first started, yeah.
So One Direction was formed in 2010. So were you on it?
So we're going back years.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously he sort of achieved everything that anybody who wanted to be in that industry could have possibly achieved. Global success, fame, adoration. You know, they were so successful as a band, and indeed when they went their separate ways as solo artists.
Right.
And what a tragic end.
Yeah.
So, as you know, my previous life, I was a journalist.
Yeah.
Based in Wolverhampton, which is where I'm from. Liam Payne himself is from Wolverhampton. So when his career very first started, when he was auditioning for X Factor, I had the pleasure of interviewing him and his family, met his family, and went along to the X Factor final with his family, actually. And they're just the most beautiful, loving, normal family. And it's heartbreaking because that lad. I haven't spoken to Liam for years. I'm not in any way pretending I knew him well at all.
Sure.
But that kid, he was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah, that's when he first went on the.
Well, he auditioned it first in 2008. Didn't get quite through, but then went back 2 years later. Got through, got part of the band.
Yeah.
He was just the most lovely, polite, humble kid. He was a joy to be around, a joy to speak to, a joy to interview. And everybody actually who's met him even over the years says exactly the same. And it looks now, I know there's talk of drugs. He was quite honest about the fact of addictions and things that
so he didn't
crept in over life.
Yeah.
But you just think, is this the price of fame?
Yeah.
And is it worth it? This poor family must be broken. He's got a little boy who's 7. Like I say, this gorgeous family. And it's heartbreaking.
Was that, what's his mum's name again? That footballer's
Cheryl
wife?
Cole.
Cheryl Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've got a child together. I can't imagine, you've got children yourself. My little boy's 8. The thought of this child now having to grow up without the dad. We don't know the exact circumstances of what happened.
Sure.
But I think it's fair to say he wasn't in a happy place.
Sure.
And I think, like I say, I don't think there's many people these days who can almost cope with this fame.
Yeah.
But somebody, this industry took on this child, this innocent but, talented kid, and they've sort of destroyed him.
Yeah.
This industry destroyed him. Somebody somewhere surely has a duty of care for these kids who they take as being normal people, throw them into the spotlight.
Yeah.
How do you even cope with that?
There's such a big price to fame, and this is what people they go on all these reality shows, and they want to do this and they want to do that to get that to be famous.
Yeah.
But there's a cost, there's a price to it,
There is.
especially when they go into it young.
Yeah.
I always think there should be something in place to cater for the growth of these young new celebrities.
Yeah.
Some kind of psychology or just some help that they can have as they grow.
Because how do you deal with something? I mean, I think this you can't just walk to the shops. You can't go. You can't do normal life anymore.
Nothing.
And especially the level of fame they had. Have you, I presume not, but have you been following any of the US presidential election?
Do you know what? I've got to say, and I'll be honest with you, no.
This shocks me.
Do you know what? I have, and I'll tell you why. Because that black woman's involved.
when she chooses
Seriously.
to be.
Yeah.
When
It was
she
interesting
just chooses to be.
because
You'd be all right in America now.
I'd be all right. I'll be
It's
all right.
all for you now.
I'd even put on some sort of my sister lives in Seattle, and I live that presidency, that whole thing through her.
Right, yes,
Because
of
she was, but she went over there 20 years ago.
Yeah.
She's picked up the accent now and everything. And so when Obama all that Obama thing was going on, she was going, oh, it's crazy over here, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, black president, first black president. You know, it wasn't for the blacks. It was the fact that it was a black president.
Yeah.
It wasn't what he could do. You know, is he good for the country? Black president.
Yeah.
And so it raised my eyelids when I saw this woman coming on. Because what's his name? Biden. He's just old, isn't he?
Well, I think he's been dead for about 10 years. But she's the sitting vice president, right? The country's gone to ratchet. She's in charge of that.
She's in charge.
She's been sitting. She's the sitting vice president for the past 3.5 years, and so she's just using this campaign and sort of going, "We'll make a difference, and we'll shut the borders at Mexico, and we'll do this." And quite rightly, everyone's going, "Well, why haven't you already done it then? You're in charge. You are currently in charge." And she did this awful interview with Fox News. Where they essentially said that to her, because they said, 78% of the country says we're on the wrong track. You keep saying we're going to turn the page. Well, how can you turn the page? You are the page. You're in charge.
Yeah.
And she suddenly went, well, Donald Trump's been running for president for the past few months. And they went, I don't get your point. He's not in charge. You're in charge. And she's like, I think you get my point. He went, well, I don't get your point. But what she's doing now, because she's losing badly, and to be quite honest, I couldn't care less what ethnicity she is. I couldn't give a toss. Ultimately, you want someone who is going to do the best for the country.
Yep.
I'm not going to argue for Donald Trump or anything, but we can see her record. We can see her record and Biden's record, which is not good, right? Yeah. So she can see that she's losing. Everyone's going, oh God, this isn't going well at all. Because she's also thick as mince. Yeah. She has no clue.
Yeah,
she doesn't know what her policies are. She doesn't know what's best for and she's doing U-turns on things she'd fought for before. But what she's done in the past couple of days is just go, I won't vote from black men, right? I'd move there now, Miles. So here's some of the things she's going to do.
Yeah, go on. This
Ready?
is interesting.
So she's going to give forgivable loans of up to $20,000 to black entrepreneurs who haven't got the resources or capital.
The Africans are going to love that. Oh, yes, I can give you another bank account. Oh, yes, my friend. I am Prince Nasa Huma Hampadinka. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Easy money.
There you go. But not white people, just black. She's
just
gonna,
blacks,
and also for black people, she's going to lower rent and provide down payments to assist black people get on the housing ladder.
Blacks?
Yep,
Blacks.
specifically black people.
Right.
And she's going to legalise marijuana.
Are you
because clearly you're all high on weed.
Right.
Do you?
Not any white guys, just the black guys.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Can I just ask? Do you not find that insulting?
That is very insulting.
So this government and its socialist policies, and everybody, we all know socialism has never worked. It's never worked. It's been tried and it doesn't work. And I read this I watched this little analogy the other day, which I thought was brilliant. And it said, right, there's a professor and they've got a class full of students, and obviously these students have got different grades. They're at different academic levels, yeah? So the professor says to these students, right, what we'll do a test, and instead of you all getting your individual grades, we will average out the grades and you'll all get the same grade, right? So they went, brilliant, okay. So they did the test. So then you've got these high achievers who had scored A star, etc. in the test. You've got some kids who have failed, etc. So the average came out as a B, right? So the kids who have not very smart, think, bloody hell, that's brilliant.
This is good.
Because I'm getting a B, right? The kids who should be getting A stars go, hang on, this isn't fair. Because I should have got an A star and I'm getting a B. So my grade's been lowered because of them. So the professor said, right, we'll do another test. As the tests went on, the average grade got lower and lower and lower and lower until everyone failed. Because the point is, the kids who were not very academic thought somebody else is going to do that work for me and keep that grade up. The kids at the top went, I'm not going to keep working to give it to those kids who aren't trying. So I'm just going to give up myself. And that is socialism. It's a race to the bottom. It never picks people up, brings everybody down. And that's exactly what this government is already doing.
Do you know, it just seems like there's lots of sad, gloomy stuff in the news at the moment.
Although, what could be considered, well, it's a bit gloomy, it's a bit dark, but I would consider it incredibly good news, which is that the leader of Hamas has been killed by the IDF. It's fantastic news. The leader of this horrific terrorist organisation. So I don't know whether you've said you're not really a political...
I only know a little bit about it. Do you know, I've got to tell you honestly, I try not to, you hear a bit on the radio or you see a bit written, but I try not to get in deep.
I understand.
I don't care, to be honest. I don't. It doesn't interest me at all.
But this issue, obviously, so October the 7th last year.
He killed a load of people. Did he kill a lot of people?
He did indeed kill a very basic way of putting it, Miles. Well, and that's the story wrapped up.
Give us the facts.
He orchestrated the massacre of 1,200 Israelis. Took 250 people hostage in Palestine. He was the mastermind of this horrific attack, which is the worst attack on Jewish people since the Second World War. Horrific. Subsequently, obviously, Israel have been trying to get its hostages back. This is why you'll see protests on the streets from people claiming to be pro-Palestinian.
We got stuck in one of those protests.
Did you?
Protests in London.
I bet it was quite scary.
It was, because we came off the tube. Sorry to cut into
No, it's fine.
We came off the tube, Covent Garden, just to go to Covent Garden for something to drink and eat. Thousands of people. OMG. And it was, if you're a tourist just in for the day,
think how you'd feel if you were Jewish. And that's the thing. And these marches should never have been allowed to continue, because they aren't really about Palestine. They're about being anti-Israel. And there is the issue. And then even further than that, they're about being anti-Jewish. And it will be interesting now to see. Now the Hamas leader has been killed, right? So Israel is sort of... That's certainly not Israel's objective. The objective is to get its hostages back. It knows, really, Hamas needs to be destroyed, else Israel is continually at threat still
Israel
from Hamas.
Didn't retaliate, though, did they?
Pardon?
Did Israel retaliate?
They did, but gave warning. But before they retaliated, there were people protesting outside the Israeli embassy, and that's before they retaliated, which again shows you the political reasons for these things. You can sit there and say this is about free Palestine. You were protesting before they even retaliated. Now they have retaliated, and they've taken a lot of the terrorists who were involved, etc. But Hamas built all of these miles and miles, bigger than the London Underground, miles of underground tunnels under Gaza, where these hostages have been kept. A lot of them have been killed. Absolutely. And so Israel is trying to defend itself. It's trying to get its hostages back. It's trying to destroy a terrorist organisation which will threaten its very existence, right? Now, this bloke, it's like cutting off the head of the snake. It's fantastic. Like I say, what will be interesting is how these protesters respond, because this man, who's the head of Hamas, he cares not about the Palestinian people. So all of these people are living in poverty, etc. He was living a multi-billion-pound lifestyle in Qatar, right? So the Hamas leader they're worth billions. But he was hiding underground in Rafah. It was a chance meeting, the IDF almost sort of stumbled upon him. But he was using Palestinian civilians as human shields, and that's what Hamas do. They use their own people as human shields, and this is why Israel have faced such difficulties, because they are using their own people as shields, because they don't care about their own people. But anyway, the long and short of it is bloody good news. So, an evil terrorist leader is dead.
So he's like...